Welcome one and all. Special shout out and thanks to the High Vibe Tribe. Y'all know who you are. Magnificent individuals, truly exceptional people, vibing at the highest known frequency, that which is love. Love, let's just break it down right now. Liberty, okay, L. O is oneness, V, versatility, E, eternal. Love is everything. Love is the very force that expands all consciousness and connects us all. Love is that which this show, another episode of Truth, Freedom, the latest far out broadcasting podcast where we discuss the occult, natural law, and any topic having to do with freedom, truth, and love. And just like love, its opposite being fear, the slowest energy can vibrate at, truthfully, is an illusionary power, an unnatural lie, if you will. Love is ultimate truth, and lies the illusion, the separation, the slowest consciousness can spiritually, mentally, and physically vibrate at. And we'll be discussing a lot about the truth, capital T truth, not lowercase t truth. The capital case T truth is the truth, that which is and that which has occurred. Simple as that. We gotta demystify everything. The truth is simple. The lies are complex. Okay? Brilliant people can make something simple. Something that's complex simple. They can see the truth for what it really is. Okay? So we're going to need to have some brilliance, some care, some empathy, some critical thinking. We need to learn how to think for ourselves. The ability to care, the ability to imagine, think for yourself. These are the faculties that are core essence, that are quintessence, that make us human. This is episode 2, Natural Law. Today we'll discuss the occult. Topics of the Church is Satan, the natural laws that bind us and govern us all, and the difference between right and wrong that does exist in nature, and that you can discover using the quadrivium and the trivium. Logical, reason, and provable, testable. You can use the scientific method on this and test it and prove it and discover these laws that do exist in nature. The laws of morality. Existing at the cusp of natural law includes the laws of morality and how sentient and intelligent beings act in the universe. And there is a karmic debt. Call it whatever you want. God's law, karma dharma, common sense, the law of attraction, they're all the same thing. We'll demystify these words and get into the root, the etymology, and how the words are used phonetically. How the control of energy is really the control of people, because we are all energy. Understanding what quantum energy, quantum mechanics really is. Quantum meaning quantifying how much energy is vibrating at a certain degree, a certain frequency. How frequently are your consciousness, your perception, perceiving, meaning seizing and grasping the truth, aligning with the truth. How frequently. And the High Vibe Tribe, vibing at the highest frequency known possible to love, is probably why you're here today. Most people believe in these 4 pillars, these 4 satanic ideologies that condense consciousness and put it in the lowest possible vibrating frequency, fear. These pillars is why the human condition is in the state of consciousness it is in. These 4 pillars, believe it or not, they exist. They're mind control, and they bind you if you believe in these ideologies to the lowest condensed possible frequency, fear, that blocks and holds consciousness from connecting and expanding. So let's get into this, shall we? Before, I want to start off with a quote by Socrates. And his quote was, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And I want to add on to that. A life with no care and empathy is not worth living. So, we need to talk about the occult. Occult, the very word is derived from the Latin adjective occultus, hidden, which comes from the Latin verb occultare, to hide, to conceal, to keep secret. Ignorance of the masses. This is the occult knowledge, hidden knowledge held by the few. They keep you stupid so you're easy to lead. You're easy to control. There's the control of people. The control of energy is the control of people. Energy, knowledge, consciousness, it all was born to be free. It was all meant and intended by the creator of the universe to be free. And evil seeks to destroy that freedom. Unnatural, illusionary power seeks to destroy. Fear, the lowest condensed. We'll talk about those in depth on this show. Right now I'm having a foundational episode where I'm going to lay out a bunch of concepts to build off of in the future. So we won't go in depth too much, but we will be talking about the quadrivium and the trivium. Mainly because that's how we perceive and use critical thinking, thought processes, intellectual standards that all beings intellectually need to know and understand and overstand and understand fully. Gnostic knowledge, Gnosis,ism, the natural laws that bind and govern us all, the difference between right and wrong, true morality. The control of energy is the control of freedom. Nikola Tesla said if you want to understand the terms of the universe, you got to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And only when we think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration can we understand the universe and know ourselves as well. So, let's get into the 4 pillars, because if you believe in these ideologies, you might as well turn the show off now. You're not going to really get anything out of it. You're not going to understand or really believe any of what I'm trying to say. I hope you don't believe anything I'm trying to say. Just want to say that. I think belief is the worst thing you can do. The only thing you should believe in is your ability to know the truth. That's it. Plain and simple, period. Believe in your ability to know the truth, because you can know the truth. The truth is always present. Is that which is and that which has occurred. Simple as that. Solipsism prevents us from knowing the truth. This is the pillar where all pillars stem from. Solipsism, I'll spell it. S-O-L-I-P-S-I-S-M. S-O-L-I-P-S-I-S-M. Solipsism. Me. I'm the center of the universe. I'm the sun. I'm God. Those planets around me are just my stuff. Stuff I have and stuff about me. Everything is me. What I perceive is reality. It's from the Latin adjective souls. Soul, sun, meaning alone, and the Latin pronoun ipsi, meaning self. Self alone, self all one. I'm the infinite mind, the all. Furthest thing from the truth. Perception is not reality. What you perceive is not reality. Yes, thoughts do create reality. We are all co-collectively creating this universe. But solipsism is not the truth. The ideology that one's own mind is sure to exist. Solipsism contended that knowledge of anything outside one's own mind is unsure. Hence, there is no such thing as objective truth, and nothing about the external world and its working can actually be known. Solipsism is the belief that if I can't perceive it, the five-sense illusionary belief that if it's not in my five senses, forget about the infrared vision, forget about the ultraviolet rays that exist, forget about the higher and lower frequencies of the tones I can't hear. If I can't perceive, seize, and grasp that, it can't exist. Forget about the infinite beings that exist on this planet, existing in forces that you can't even see. Forget about the spirits. The only three things that consciousness can manifest itself into are thoughts, emotions, feelings, and actions. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. That's how consciousness projects itself into our 3D reality. And these three projections, when not aligned with the truth, the highest frequency, when not frequently aligned with it, will only cause chaos and suffering. The only two reasons why people suffer is because they refuse to believe in the truth, and they believe in something that's not true. Doing things that are wrong only cause suffering. Right is correct. The definition of right we're using for this show literally means correct. Wrong is everything that's not right. You have infinite rights, but you only have 7 wrongs. We're talking about the true transgressions, the true 7 deadly sins. But first, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to talk about these 4 pillars so we can stop believing in these 4 pillars and get the foundation down for them. Solipsism is a branch that essentially grows moral relativism. Morals are subjective and is a human mental construct. It's just a satanic thought process. Satan says morals keep me in business. Moral relativism keeps me in business. Morals. And honestly, it's like, how can society ever operate true freedom if we think there's just an imaginary line, and once you cross this line into that country, you can die for it, for doing something that's completely legal? This is moral relativism. Morals do exist in nature. There is a difference between right and wrong. You need to know this difference so you can stop doing wrong, stop reaping what you sow. You want to live a happy life? You ask anyone on the street, do you want to be free? Everyone says yes. You ask anyone on the street, do you want to suffer? Everyone should say no. If they're a healthy, sane being, no one wants to suffer. Everyone wants to be free. Yet we do the wrong thing because we do not know the truth, and we refuse to believe in the truth, and we accept something that's not true. We believe in these ideologies that are false. The ideology of money, government, and religion. Most religions, the institutions that do not practice what they preach. This is the unholy trinity: money, government, and religion that keeps us all a slave, that controls the energy and controls the people. Moral relativism stemming from that is social Darwinism. It's a macrobiological Darwinism theory that suggests an allogenic hierarchy gets to rule the herd. What's social Darwinism? Survival of the richest. It's stemming eugenics, the last pillar, the last main pillar. Eugenics is the self-direction of human evolution. That since I'm God, since morals are relative and I get to decide what's right and what's wrong, there's no intellectual creator of the everything we exist in and everything that is connected to this, the multiverse construct, if you will, the essence of everything, the etheric essence that binds us all in this construct, this matrix we live in, made up of electricity and magnetism, gravity and radiation. These 4 forces: fire, earth, water, and air. Eugenics is also propagating that everything's so big, you're so small. What's the purpose of even trying? You're weak and powerless, keeping you docile and a slave. These are the 4 pillars. Know these pillars. We will be discussing them in depth on this show. Talking about what not to do. This is the apathetical methodology. Learning through negation. How do you know what a right is? How do you know how to do a right thing? You learn everything not to do. Don't put your hand on that stove. You touch that stove, you're going to learn. You walk off that cliff, you're going to learn what gravity is, whether you believe in it or not. You have to understand it if you're going to survive and live right, correct, based in truth, moral, in harmony with nature and law. Actions based in it do not result in harm to other sentient beings, other intellectual beings. That's a right. A wrong is incorrect and not based in truth, immoral, in opposition to natural law. Actions based in it result in harm to other sentient beings. Natural law transgressions are harmful actions. These are the true 7 deadly sins. The true 7 transgressions are murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, and lying. These are all technically transgressions of theft. Every harmful action that a human being is capable of taking is a form of theft, because some form of property is always being stolen when a wrongdoing is committed. Life is a form of property. Rights are a form of property. Freedom is a form of property. You own your body. Every time a wrongdoing is committed, you're stealing someone's right. We all have equal rights. Every time you murder, you're stealing their right to life. Every time you rape, you're stealing the right to their body. Every time, because they own your body. Everyone owns their own body. Everyone is responsible and has to reconcile and respect their own body. Everybody. No one can govern anyone else. The claim of ownership over someone else's body is futile. It only can be done if you believe in that false claim. If you're controlled, if your mind is controlled, and you are in a fear state of consciousness. Trespass, you're stealing their right to their own layer against the elements. And obviously there's situational ethics in the coercion and lying that we will go in depth and discuss, that there is this non-dualism. When you take black and white, right and wrong, you bring them together and you reconcile the truth. We'll talk about the 4 prescriptions of mental illness: reconcile, respect, responsibility, and the last ones of things always slip my mind, but we'll go in depth and talk about it. But we really need to understand the difference between right and wrong, and not to lie and steal the truth from people. Truth is free, and when you act in truth, you manifest freedom and love in the world. When you do these 7 wrong things: murder, assault, rape, theft, trespass, coercion, threats, manipulating others, and lying, you will only produce negativity in the world. The world you live in, this is common sense. Why produce these things in the world? You live in it, dummy. Dumbass. You live in the fucking world. Why make it a worse place for yourself? What comes around? You know what I meant. What goes around comes around, goddammit. You live in the world. The golden rule. You get what you give. Do unto others what you want done unto yourself. Do not do unto others what you do not want done to yourself. It's as simple as that. Now let's get into the natural laws that govern our universe. Hermes Trismegistus, probably one of the greatest minds that walked the planet. His book, The Kabbalion, talks about 7 of the cosmic laws. The definitive edition written by technically written by Hermes, but the author was William Atkins Walker, and he carried the torch because his book is the #1 burnt book in history. So there's many editions out there, and you wonder why it's the most burnt book in history. Because it carries the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. They want to keep you docile and controlled through violence and fear and the restriction of freedom of speech. They don't want you knowing the truth and talking to each other about the truth. So cause and effect is the first law. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. You do something, you get an effect. This is electricity, magnetism, action and reaction. Okay? We'll go in depth with these laws, but we're going to go over them quickly. Next, you got rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and all things fall. The pendulum swing measure to the left is the pendulum swing measure to the right, and the swing manifests in everything. Rhythm compensates. The law of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Just like in your brain, gender manifests in the neocortex, your left brain and your right brain. And when they're in balance, creating the EEG complex, you create a harmony with thought, body, and spirit, feeling, thought, and action, the Holy Trinity. So, gender manifests in everything. And then polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Best way I can describe this real quick is hot and cold. Love and fear. Hot, cold. They're the same thing. There is no degree in which cold becomes hot. Both at their extremes will burn you and have the similar effects. Cold is just the absence of energy. Hot is just the presence. How fast, how much kinetic energy, potential energy is stored, and how fast is it vibrating at. Energy, frequency, and vibration is the terms of the universe. Presence of truth, absence of truth. Natural, unnatural, everything, nothing. These truths are just half-truths and they can be reconciled. All paradoxes can be reconciled. So, the law of vibration says that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Nothing is all that rests. The fear, the illusion. Everything moves. Nothing is Fear is getting our consciousness into the slowest vibrational rate. The consciousness, the pillars of satanic thought get propagated every day to bring your consciousness down. That's why they spend billions on advertisements. That's why they control it, because it works. It's the system set up to make you a slave and to kill you slowly and to profit off your sickness. The cartels that control the pharmaceutical companies, the central banks that control the money, the government that control the military. This unholy Trinity needs to be broken up. Vatican City, inner city of London, and Washington, D.C. These places, religion, government, the military, U.S. military, the police force of the world, if you will, and the religion is no better, but the inner city of London is the true culprit. The queen, the family that owns all the gold, which owns the central banks, the money, taxes on all the world. Taxes is slavery. And the seventh law, mentality. The all is mind. The universe is mental. There's something called the all. It's mind. Nothing can exist outside of its mind. The all is everything. Nothing can exist outside everything. That's a blanket statement. It's a statement that when I say it, you cannot ever unsay it. It's impossible to make this statement any less true. Nothing can exist outside everything. Nothing is nothing. It's all that can exist outside everything. The all is mind. We all are connected to this energy. Nothing can exist outside energy. Sacred feminine, the true spirit that connects us all, love. And sacred masculine, the thought. Some say it's unisex. Some say the action, the will, is the power. The masculine, the sacred masculine. But this is the Holy Trinity. The eighth hidden principle is care. The true spiritual currencies. That's why we say pay attention. And we're spending time. This is what care is. What allows us to focus on things and let them grow with love. It's the generative principle. We'll talk about sacred geometry a lot and the Kabbalion and Hermetic principles in depth. Next episode, I'll have a guest speaker. Right now, I just need to lay down the foundational episode and really discuss what we're talking about here, and it's ultimately freedom. It's all what it is about. It's about recognizing the human condition is that not which is true. We are not acting in truth. Ignorance must be bliss, but it's causing a whole lot of suffering. So you tell me, are you content? Because I'm not. The power of empathy and critical thinking, the power of care, the control needs to end, and it can end. In one universe, this is the multiverse construct that all universes stem from. The mind, we can analyze it in many ways. And in one universe, love wins, saves all the universes, reconciling the truth. Reconcile responsibility, respect, And there's another R that I cannot think of. These are 3 of the 4 things you need to do in order to pursue the truth. You need to reconcile the truth. Bring it back together. All truths are half-truths. They're just opposite pairs needing to come back together. We need to respect, look into, look into, not just be ignorant and ignorance. We're ignoring the truth, not looking into it, just based on our first perceptions, thinking someone is not a good person, and then not respecting them. Everyone should be respected. You can respect people less and not look into them that much because you see the evil they produce. But you should respect everybody and look into them and re-look into them after a while to learn the truth. And be responsible for yourself. No one can govern yourself. No one can be responsible for yourself. Only you can be responsible for yourself. And that's the truth. So, you need to look into the words money, mon meaning one. Phonetically, E is I, one I. It's a proxy, a false illusion, being a bad one at that, claiming it's the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, on the $1 bill. The things the Freemasons of the history have put into money, the pictures, they're laughing at you. They are laughing at you because you're so easy to dumb down and control. Us as a collective species. It's such a joke that a 20-year-old kid has to make a podcast and talk about the truth. The truth he has come to determine it in, based upon vigorous and thorough statements of me saying one of the most powerful phrases anyone can say. And that statement was, I was wrong. To admit one is wrong and empty one's own true cup. Can you really understand the truth? This is what a lot of yogis and philosophers say when one can't only learn when one's cup is empty. So, great quotes from a lot of philosophers. Nikola Tesla, Hermes Trismegistus, and Socrates are going to be the guys we're talking about the most. And one of the quotes from Socrates, I can pull it up real quick. We'll talk about it. But I'll end the show off real quick, is true wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. Ask and you shall receive is essentially what it means. You have to knock on the door of wisdom, which is always an open door. You have to walk through it, essentially. Taking that leap of faith, believing that truth exists. You first have to perceive in your ability to believe that you can come to understand what truth is. But if you don't believe that truth is existing objectively in the natural universe that you exist in, you'll never be able to understand and you'll remain in ignorance. Next quote by Socrates is, I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think. I can't force you to learn. I can't make you walk through the door of truth. I can only point you in the right direction. And I hope to God you don't believe in anything I say, and you go out and learn it for yourself and know it. And it can be done. You just have to believe in your ability to know the truth. It's easier said than done, obviously, but this is a process. This is the chiseling of the stone. So, know the truth. Know who you are. Know thyself. And just remember, love is all you need. Peace.